do. Teesha on the two. Ooh. How y'all like the intro? Y'all like the intro? A little something, put together, just a little beginners, and had a little sprinkle, heat or whatever. I'm planning on doing I guess other intro videos later on, but I thought that was cute. I thought that was a cute little thing. Anyway, happy Monday. I know it's a late upload. My weekend was crazy, which is why this whole Mental Health Monday segment is very much so needed. I got like terrible news from family members. I really don't want to go into full detail, but let's just say I have 2 funerals to attend this month, possibly, and I'm also still mourning the death of my uncle and a childhood friend of mine, and they died on the same day this month, a couple of years apart. So October just started and I'm over this month already, but I'll get through it. But let me just, this is my happy place. YouTube is my happy place, and Mental Health Mondays is something that is like near and dear to my heart or whatever. So I'm going to utilize this time to just discuss mental health as I do every week. Like I said, late upload. I know Married to Medicine was supposed to be before this, but because of everything that happened this weekend, I had to push it back. So I'll more than likely have Married to Medicine uploaded by tomorrow, right before Empire is recorded and uploaded. So it'll be a little out of order, but catching up, back on track. But thank you guys so much for rocking with me, and I'm holding true to my promise to stay consistent. So without further ado, this is Mental Health Mondays, and I wanted to discuss something that this is my first time hearing about it, but it kind of makes sense, and it kind of goes into I guess what I deal with in certain situations. It's called stress response disorder, and is also known as adjustment disorder. And it's a short-term condition that occurs when a person has a great difficulty coping with or adjusting to a particular source of stress. So I would say my first ever time feelings of stress and learning how to cope with situations, it had to be around when my aunt passed away 9 years ago. I just noticed a complete change in myself after she passed away. I couldn't sleep. I had insomnia for a year. It was terrible. My body started aching really bad. I was getting shooting pains in my hands, and it would go from my hands to my feet and then back to my hand, and it was in my hand for a while, and then it just went to my foot and it kind of stayed there. So now I think it turned into nerve damage or whatever. But I was very short-tempered. I was very I don't know. I was numb. Everything was a blur to me. And with this, it's saying that usually the symptoms they go away within 3 months of, well, they come and they're there for the first 3 months after whatever happens. Happens. Sorry for yawning. But it said after about 6 months it should go away. I don't know if I find that necessarily true. I think that if it's not treated when it's supposed to be treated, it could graduate. It could evolve into something else. It could evolve into clinical depression, seasonal depression, anxiety, all these bigger pictures or whatever. So it said that people with stress response disorder often have symptoms of clinical depression, such as tearfulness, feelings of hopelessness, and loss of interest, and it is sometimes informally called situational depression. I agree with that, because there was a time where I lost interest in stuff or whatever, I was semi-depressed when I was pregnant with my son, but depression didn't really hit me until after I had him. And I did start to lose interest in stuff that I used to enjoy doing. Like I used to enjoy getting dressed up, dolling myself up, putting on makeup, getting my hair done, nails. I didn't even care about my looks after a while. I would just wrap my hair up, as you probably seen in like earlier videos. I used to have my hair wrapped, always in a ponytail. It was wrapped under it. And I barely wore makeup. I always wore like big t-shirts or, kind of like what I'm wearing now. But I'm not working. So I'm just, cooling in my Nike Air. But like when I do hang out with friends and I do have my social stuff, I dress up or whatever. But like even then, I wasn't really hanging out with people like that, so I wasn't really going to social events. I was content with just sitting in the house watching movies and eating snacks all day. But after a while they got bad because I started binge eating, like for comfort. Like anytime I got stressed, I was binge eating, and that's how I ended up gaining like 20-30 pounds. Like I was nearly 300 pounds after I had my son. And mind you, because usually after you have a baby you lose the weight, but if you don't maintain losing the weight, you gain the weight back. So me, I didn't maintain losing the weight. I just kept binge eating or whatever, and I ended up gaining weight. So when I started back working and whatnot, that's when I started losing weight. When I started walking and drinking more water in moderation and whatnot, that's when I started losing weight. So my weight goes up and down, and it usually goes up and down when I'm in stressful situations, because I don't binge eat like I used to, but I do eat stuff that I'm not supposed to. I know I'm not supposed to, but it's like comfort for me. Sad to say, I need to find new ways to find comfort because it's not good. But yeah, but I will say I'm not as bad as I used to be. I used to be terrible. Like I would buy Oreos like every other day, eat them every night with milk, and I would just eat them nonstop. I can't tell you the last time I had Oreos. Okay? So it is a thing. And I do think that stress response disorder is a lot more common than you hear about or whatever, because it probably gets mistaken for seasonal or situational depression or whatever. But me just thinking back on situations where I've felt depressed and I felt like, hopeless, and I didn't care to go out and do things that excited me anymore. It makes sense, So, like I said earlier, these symptoms generally begin within 3 months of the event and rarely last for longer than 6 months. I disagree. I feel like that's probably what it is commonly, but I feel like I feel like it evolves to something more than just stress response disorder. You know what I'm saying? So, the symptoms pretty much are anxiety, worry, sadness, headaches, palpitations, and this disorder is very common, and it can affect anyone. So, there's probably a lot of people walking around here with it and don't really know it, or don't want to discuss it, don't want to deal with it, and that's okay. But however, I feel like it's okay to talk about, it's okay to identify, it's okay to discuss, because like I said, we have this stigma where people like to sweep mental illness under the rug. They like to sweep mental health issues under the rug, and I don't think we should anymore. I'm tired of being silent about it. So, I feel like I don't feel like I have it now, or that I'm dealing with it now. I know for sure that I deal with anxiety. Anxiety is the hardest one to tackle, but that's the one that I know that I have, because I feel it in my body. Like most times when I'm asleep, I don't feel anything. I just feel like, but then like let me hear like my alarm go off, or let me hear like a noise outside that'll wake me up, and it's like my body will start, like not all the time, but like my heart will start beating fast, and it's like my body. Like, you ever heard like a for example, like a refrigerator when it's making ice, or it makes that noise when it's like it cuts on to like freeze the freezer and keep the fridge cold or whatever, and then you hear the sound cut off. That's kind of how my body operates, and it's scary, but one day at a time I deal with it, I guess. I have started going back to therapy, and it's working for me. It really is. Like, my therapist is amazing, and she has been like breaking me down and pulling stuff out of me that I didn't even know was there. Like, the running thing that has been said to me since I've gone to her is that I'm vague. Like, I'm vague in my answers, I'm vague in my conversations, and I don't even realize it. Like, I feel like when I talk to people, I'm giving them all of me, but I guess it's still some stuff I'm just, and then there's things that I'm doing and how I'm living. I didn't even realize until she brought it out of me, like, you live your life pleasing others. When are you gonna, do things that make you happy? Why do you always put other people's feelings before yours? And as much as I know for facts that that is something that I do, I thought it was something that I stopped doing. I thought it was a habit that I kind of killed, but no, it's still here. It still lingers. So, I feel like I said, this whole stress response disorder, I feel like that was probably like the beginning stages that I had before it got to anxiety and before it got to depression. So I feel like maybe, I don't want to say that I started the process of dealing with it too late, because I don't feel like I dealt with it too late, because I've actually been going to therapy since I've been going to therapy for like 10 years. It's just that I have yet to have like a consistent therapist. Like, since I started therapy, I've had like 5 therapists, 5 different therapists in the 10 years that I've been going. And it's all of them really good. I never left them because anything was wrong with them. It was always, either they moved on, they got promoted, they did another field of interest. One of my therapists, me and her were pregnant together. Like, she was pregnant with her daughter, I was pregnant with my daughter. Our daughters were actually a week apart in age, which is crazy. And she she had told me that after she finished maternity leave, she was going to come back, but she decided not to come back. So I had to find another therapist, and that was my therapist that I had before this therapist. And something happened with my insurance, and I no longer could go to her anymore. So then over the summer, I had this situation where I ended up in psych emergency. And when I was there, they were telling me that I had to do a follow-up with a psychiatrist and a therapist, and that's what I did. And I'm glad I did, because in me doing that, that's been what motivated me to come back to YouTube. That's been what motivated me to continue discussing mental health and the issues and all of that stuff. So the therapist that I have now, like I said, she's amaze balls, and I love talking to her. I love that she, like, subtly, she'll bring out all of, like, what I'm harboring. And I really appreciate her for that. And, I'm not saying this to say, oh, everybody should go to therapy. Some people don't feel comfortable going to therapy, and that is perfectly fine. It's all in what you like, and it's all in what works for you. But for me, therapy works for me, and I 100% recommend it to anybody, because even if you think that there's not an issue or whatever, just go to therapy for peace of mind. Go to therapy for self-care. Go to therapy when you feel like you have no one to talk to. And even if you feel like you don't want to go to therapy, write it down. there are ways to get it out. Don't hold that stuff in, because like eventually you're like, we're all like volcanoes. Eventually you're gonna erupt if you don't. So, that's how I've been dealing with it or whatever. But like I said, I feel like stress response disorder can gradually over time become depression, become anxiety, because if you don't tackle it in time and if you don't deal with it when it's still fresh or whatever. So I feel like this is a situation that I've had, and they do say that psychotherapy is the most common and best treatment to get through stress response disorder or whatever. So I feel like, it's levels to this mental health thing. It's always one thing leads to another, which leads to this, which becomes this, what becomes that, and self-care is somewhere in the middle. So, it's plenty of things you can do, as I always say, to better your mental health. So this was Mental Health Mondays. I hope you learned something new today, because I sure did. I didn't even know this was a thing. So I try to research things that is not the norm, because when you think of mental health, you think anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder. Those are like the common topics, but I wanted to explore other things, things that, because mental health is not just black and white. There's a lot of gray areas. There's a lot of, color in mental health, and I would like to talk about it all. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you have any similar stories or whatever, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave them below. And also, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. About Teesha on the tube. Teesha on the tube. Teesha on the tube. Teesha on the tube. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.